Good day, horror fans! I am Torstein from Cinema Terror, and this review was supposed to drop on Halloween, as that felt appropriate, but due to struggling with a sore throat over the last week, I have not been able to finish it before now. On the positive side, it did give me a chance to rewatch it again in cinema yesterday, after having my first initial watch of this film on the amazing annual Ramaskrik Horror Film Festival in October. While I generally keep my reviews for new movies as spoiler-free as possible, I'm going to loosen my restraints up a bit for this one, as I would assume every horror fan in the world has seen this film by now. It will only be minor spoilers, so I don't believe that I will ruin the movie for you if you haven't seen it, but if you haven't seen the film and are not interested in knowing anything about it before experiencing it for yourself, then you might want to skip this video and go see the movie first. And just to be clear, I do believe that this film is worth seeing on the big screen. So if my opinion is the deciding factor for some reason, then yes, go see the film and enjoy yourself. Anyways, that was a long intro. Let's get into the horror event of 2018 with Halloween 2018. This is the second time Laurie Strode and Michael Myers are reunited, as the franchise has taken a similar turn and eliminated the sequels to the original one time before 20 years ago on Halloween H2O. I will try not to compare those two films that much, although they are very similar. The story here takes place right after the horrific events that Laurie Strode and her friends experienced 40 years ago on the night of Halloween. The serial killer Michael Myers has spent his 40 years being locked up in a sanitarium. At the same time, Laurie has lived those same years being afraid and determined to be ready for what she believes is the inescapable, the return of Michael Myers. And I'm not talking about the original fourth movie in this franchise. Only a few days before Halloween, Michael is being transferred to a maximum security prison. And as you could expect, something goes wrong with the transfer and he is let loose and on his way back to Haddonfield to finish what he started 40 years ago.
And taken into custody that night.
And has spent the last 40 years in captivity. Hello, Michael.
Halloween 2018 is an enjoyable time spent at the theaters, but also an uneven film, as it has some awesome stuff in it, but sadly also some negative parts that keeps it from being great. The best part of the film is that it is amazing to see Michael Myers on the big screen again after such a long time, and he is presented greatly here. His mask is finally great again, and that's surprisingly an aspect that several of the original sequels did not get right. He is the right size, menacing, and he does get a portion in the middle of the film where he gets to just walk around the neighborhood and slaughter off whoever he feels deserves to become a victim, for no rhyme or reason. It's also fun to see Jamie Lee Curtis return as Laurie Strode. I'm sure I don't need to explain the love that the horror community has for her, and to see her bring the character to life once again is just as big for me as it was to see Michael go on a killing spree. I do like how complex her character is in this. Yeah, she's strong in some regards, but also vulnerable in others. I must say though, I was more happy with how her character turned out in H2O, but Jamie Lee Curtis has some moments in this new one that are more emotionally on point, so I can easily see fans preferring this version. And it's not like they're all that different, to be honest, as this version is of course 20 years older than the previous Laurie in H2O. Regardless of which Laurie you might end up preferring, I doubt there will be any disagreement about Curtis delivering an excellent performance in this film.
You don't believe in the boogeyman? He's here! Michael! You should.
A mistake of this film, however, is the lack of screen time she actually gets. The film is filled with supporting characters that do not add to the film at all and just robs us away from more scenes with Jamie Lee Curtis. The worst character of them all is a totally useless character that gets to add an unnecessary twist that annoyed the hell out of me. I also didn't care for Judy Greer as Laurie's daughter Karen. While there was plenty of stuff to explore with her and Laurie, I just didn't care for her or feel like I got to know much about her at all. While Andy Matichak's character Allison, Laurie's granddaughter and convenient teenager that the studios can use to bring in a teen audience, feels more worthless to the overall story. I did like Matichak's performance, so that did make me more forgiving for her having too much screen time, as all the high school stuff with her and her friends adds little except teen bodies that Michael gets to cut and slice open. There are more supporting characters that I haven't even mentioned, but they are all without value. I would have much more preferred it if they had cut most of them out, focusing more on the Strode family, and merged Karen and Allison into one character, so they could have the time to build on the broken relationship between Laurie and one of them instead of trying to do it with both. There's a fantastic movie to be found within all of this, if they just kept the focus more on Laurie Strode within the movie, as they have done in the great promotional work for the film. Now when it comes to the plot of this film, I can't say that I was all that impressed. While I loved Curtis as Laurie, there are still some illogical choices done by her and many of the other characters. I was surprised that it would have so much of the cliché horror tropes of the slasher film instead of trying to be better, if you will, and for big parts of the film it felt like just another generic Halloween sequel. Even if it slashed away all of the sequels after the original, it sure liked to make references to them, and even if the stuff is considered to be a fan service, I as a fan aren't all that impressed or entertained by stuff like that. The final showdown between Laurie and Michael were cool though, but the ending felt a bit too open. It felt like the film was already ready for a sequel, while again comparing to H2O, this didn't deliver anything close to the climax of that one.
So my house is here. Which one should we go to? They're all spooky. I'm gonna pick that one over on across the street. Yeah, oh, what the? Hey, sorry about that.
I also had problems with the tone of the film. It honestly felt kind of tone deaf as it goes from humor to suspense to straight up brutality, and it doesn't flow that well and come together. Especially the comedic scenes felt flat to me. There's one specific scene with two police officers that was cringe-worthy bad for me and took away from any tension or suspense that otherwise could have been more welcoming in those parts. To be honest, it kind of shows that David Gordon Green hasn't directed a horror film before, and if you're looking for a Halloween film where you might become afraid or scared of Michael Myers, then I don't believe this film will be satisfying for you. On the other hand, the film is well shot though. It looks great and there are some well crafted individual scenes that I have no doubt will make up for an enjoyable experience for the average moviegoer. The music is excellent, and bringing back John Carpenter to score it did more than just work as fan service, as the new stuff he created for his film is excellent and one of my favorite parts of the film. Much of the technical aspect of it will probably make many moviegoers ignore the flaws of the film, and if it did that for you, then that's fine. Not spotting or caring about flaws and just being able to sit and have an enjoyable time is never a bad thing in my book. Halloween 2018 has already become a huge success in the States, and I'm sure that it will perform the same when it gets released to the rest of the world, which has probably happened before this video is finished. It is the horror event of 2018, and I both love that it exists and that it is being received as well as it has so far. The fan in me found plenty of things that brought the experience down for me personally, but I have no doubt that this will be a fun experience for the majority of horror fans out there. So I do recommend that you go see it on the big screen. All my gripes aside, it was enjoyable to sit and watch Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode and Michael Myers back on a murder spree on the big screen. While it is very uneven, I do believe that Halloween is an entertaining film that will serve its audience, and as such I'm giving it a score of 3 out of 5. This turned out to be quite a long review. It's fun to be able to talk about a new entry into a franchise that we as horror fans hold dear to our hearts. So there will always be a lot to say about them, and I could honestly have expanded this review even more and talked more in details of what I liked and disliked about it. Hopefully it ended with a length that you as a viewer are happy with. Speaking of you, have you been able to see this film yet? If so, what did you think of it? And do you think that the success of Halloween will open the doors for a new handful of horror remakes? It's still too early for me to tell, but which film do you prefer, this new one or Halloween H2O? Feel free to go wild in the comment section below with all of your thoughts and opinions. Thank you for checking out my review of this film, especially since there are so many more out there by now. Hope you enjoyed it, and that you keep checking back for more horror movie reviews here on Cinema Terror. Thank you.